Hello, Arnaldo. I had to sneak in here a minute or two early. I can't let this go by to say howdy. Oh, so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. This is going to be worth getting up at 2 in the morning for, or staying up for. Hey, Jack, how are you? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I hope you guys have been saying some prayers for Jack. He's gone through a tough season, and it's hard. You guys are excited. You don't know what I've got in the wings behind this slide. This was from Space and Sky, or Space and the daily email from Space and Sky. I can't wait either. You guys are in for a super treat tonight, I promise. This is going to be really cool. Yeah, that photo is from, or somehow that's not the right website, but they send out that great daily summary of what's going on in the sky. And there were about 5 or 6 of these this morning, and they were beautiful. Kat Lawman was the photographer who captured this. Just amazing. Just amazing. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. We'll have more coming in here. I'm going to tread water for just a few minutes, and then we have 2 guests who are going to be joining us. You've already seen in the post. Katie Delong is here, and she's in the queue, and so is Tom Rebro. So we're going to be talking to them about this class that we did, but I wanted to let everybody get in here and get settled in. Hey, Pam. And I drew a card, and you guys ever have the card jump out of the deck? Don't you love it when that happens? And we were talking before, and then when we went to the slide, I got the deck out, and as I was just cutting the deck and getting ready to draw a card, number 2, High Priestess, jumped out. We've had this card before, but let me just read you what it says. The High Priestess. This is so perfect for tonight too. Dreams, powerful visions, psychic insights, serendipity, meditation, introspection, intuition, spiritual experience. Very Neptune and Pisces, isn't it? The shadow side, also Neptune and Pisces, keeping secrets, gossip, mistruths, hidden agendas, fear of intuitive abilities. How many of us have that? Don't want to use our gifts. Not paying attention to your inner voice. The priestess sits on the edge of this realm and the next as she draws down meaning and illumination from beyond the veil. Sacred insights and profound wisdom are flowing to you now, and to access them, you must tune in to your intuition. It's exactly the theme tonight. It jumped out of the deck. You must tune into your intuition and submerge your thoughts into her subconscious realm. What have we been talking about for the last decade? The language of the unconscious mind is revealing itself to you now through a metaphor, in dreams, or as ancient memories that resurface to be processed. Pay attention to synchronicity. Any nagging feeling of being off track, as well as gut feelings that move you in a new direction at this time. The divine whispers that are emanating from your soul hold an important message for you, and the bridge between the enigmatic realm and the priestess of your conscious understanding of the signs will be found through your own quiet introspection. And the mantra, I have the answers I seek, and by following the truth, I will find them. How cool. Well, I'll tell you what, with that, I can't resist. We've got to bring in our guests. Seriously, after we quit talking, I pulled that card. Is that just crazy?
It's a good card.
It's
applicable to this for sure.
Very much so.
Sure is. Oh,
Very
my
much so.
goodness. Oh, wow. All right. Let me get caught up on just a couple of things here as folks keep coming in. And Yeah, there are several on that Oracle decks. Yeah, this is Lightseer's deck. I know we use it all the time, but it's the Lightseer's deck. Hey, Kristen, glad you're here. Hope you had a good weekend with your family. Rob, good to see you. Got a great team in here tonight. Hi, Donna. Oh, we're going to get some strength tonight, aren't we, guys?
Mhm. Yes.
This is going to be good. Hi, Tabitha. How are things in Kentucky? And so it is. Yeah, it was. Amelia was in our program too,
Mhm.
and she had some really cool breakthroughs,
Mhm.
and that was awesome. All right, let me see. Oh, this is cool. This is fine. Okay, Rob's got some bronchitis, some rib muscles, whole physical wholeness. Hey, you got it, man. And thanks for just saying, just thanks for putting it out there. We will stand with you. You got a whole team that will send you healing energy. So thanks. Appreciate it. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. Beth is always commenting on our things on YouTube every day. So thank you for that. So is Jennifer. So this is awesome. All right. So we're going to kind of just roll right in here because I want you to hear from these folks about what they have been experiencing this week. And there's Lynn. Good to see you. We're going to be talking about Lynn here in a bit. I warned her. I told her I was going to talk about her tonight. So she knows. She just didn't know what I'm going to say. So, but let's see. We did this week. Let me just show them. I'll see. How do we do this? I don't know how to put that. Well, anyway, you guys can see that. It's this came across. I don't know. Came Facebook, I guess, probably. And so I kind of talk about this with astrology too. The randomness of when you encounter something. Because I'm not on Facebook that much. So it's kind of like our priestess card that just jumped out of the deck. This kind of jumped out and something just said, you need to do this. And it was like, okay. And for $5 is what this was.
$5.
It's like,
Worth it.
Oh my
worth
goodness.
It's like, I can't lose. I'll give her $5 just for
Exactly.
showing up. It's like,
Yep.
and I would like to edit her name. I've got a thing about the energy of words, but challenge just has a fingernails to the blackboard thing for me personally. But that was for me to work through. That was probably one of my blocks that I got past because it didn't show up for the whole rest of the time. But this was really cool. It was a really cool setup that she had a Facebook group for the course. And it basically consisted, it was 5 days, $1 a day, less than coffee.
Much less than coffee.
Much less than coffee. And there was a video in the morning from her, and that was the material of the day. And then the group had interaction in Facebook. And that was a big piece of this because you're going to hear these guys are going to talk about the fact that the whole setting lent itself to this transformation. And then there was a live in the evenings that ran from 45 minutes to an hour that she was on. So there was a lot of support, and that was for $1 a day. It was amazing. Now, it was about other programs that she has, but the main focus was hugely accomplished in this time. And the themes were a couple of things. One was following your intuition, just like we drew in the priestess card. And as she said, we come in, I believe we come in. She didn't talk too much about, prior stuff, but we come in with things. We learn things when we're young, and then that sets a course for how we react to things as we continue on into adulting years. And we run those programs, and that's why we're off course, because it's not aligned with our highest self. And this is, goodness. I mean, even there's 2 intuition books on the cover of the home page of High Timeline Publishing right now, Fred's intuition training and intuitive awareness method. So if you're not brushed up on intuition, it's right there. The bait is hanging right there. We've done a lot on it. We've talked about a lot on the podcast. And yet with that, there still is this awareness that was created during the past week and really opened the gate to following our intuition. That was one piece. The other piece was clearing blocks. And what Christy does well is she puts the two together. So you can't follow the intuition fully until the blocks are cleared. And I think that's definitely the case. So what I thought we would do here is to hear from the experiences, because we had our own little post on our Facebook page, and Katie and Tom were quite, they were telling us their story in there. It was like,
in
wow.
Full detail.
It was like, wow.
Yep.
So what I thought we would do is hear from them so that you could hear their story about clearing blocks and intuition. And then at the end, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise for all of us so that we can participate in some of this. So Tom, why don't you and we'll go to the bench and let Katie have the floor. Ladies first around here.
Thank you.
So we'll go back offline here. And Katie, tell us about what you experienced.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was funny, the synchronicity of how it happened too. I was telling Thomas that I'm not on Facebook a whole lot either. And that post and all the content that is in our group, our subconscious mind mastery group, of all the content, I saw that post. And same idea, I thought $5, why not? Just do it. And then the number $5, 5 days. I was like, well, now I have to. So we started with day one. With the video, the opening video, which I watched in the morning. And the first day was what she called always being connected. So connecting to the light. And she really described it in a way that resonated with me. And for some reason, the act of looking up to me too, which she asked you to do, and seeing your infinite self 300 yards above where you were, and then connecting with the light through that visualization, really, like, it gave me a safety net. And that was day one. And so I had this safety net of any time something would feel a little off to me, which I started to recognize, because once you connect with the light, you just feel on a scale of 1 to 10, you feel like 7, 8, 9, where previously you were kind of like blah. So I started feeling really, when the blah was coming up, connecting with the light. And that I was on cloud 9 all day that first day. And anytime something would come up, I just kept doing it. She advised that you did it every hour just to make it a habit. I did my best to do it and did it many, many times that day. That night, she had a Facebook Live where she started doing what she called clearing. So what she implemented in that was recognizing exactly what the things were that were coming up, that were pushing you back to that level 5 or 6, rather than how you felt when you're connected with the light. That's where stuff started to get real with me, because I examined everything from childhood on, those feelings, where it was in my body. But then what she did was she cleared it. It's gone. You feel it in your body, you bring in the light again, and then it's poof, it's gone. But then things just started coming up and coming up and coming up, because now I'm completely aware of all these things that I had just been carrying around with me. Just every single day, I was just pushing through it. And I think I mentioned in our Facebook group, I didn't realize how normal it was for me. I recognized it. Yeah, my stuff wasn't happy sometimes, but that's just how life is, right? No, it doesn't have to be like that. And clearing those things, I started to feel things falling off of me. And in our Facebook group, I posted on that second day, I ordered a cheeseburger from Freddy's because I was so exhausted, because all of this crap just fell right off of me. I was exhausted, but I was also aware of how I had been living for so long. And I kind of compare it to when you're backpacking, when you're learning to backpacking, you have this goal and you just want to get to the summit just to say you did it, but you don't realize that you have you picked up rocks along the way that you thought were cool, and you have them in your pocket, and your backpack's packed all wrong. And then when you get to the top, you have this like relief. You can take your backpack off. That was day one for me. Somebody took my backpack off. And then we started unpacking it on day two. And we started looking, well, do you need this? Where did this come from? Why do you even have this here? Throw it off the mountain and you're good. And then stuff started happening. Day three, or I'll go back to day two again. We had the morning video was what she called the blessing ball of light, where you imagine yourself in this ball and just play out how your day, or even just a situation, how you want it to go, and then put it in your heart and just project it. And I did that. I have horses, so I did that before I went to feed my horses that morning. I wanted peace, just the whole day to be with them, just to have peace with them. And I walked in and I fed them with this in my heart. And about 10 to 20 minutes later, I have 3 horses. All 3 of them went out into the pasture and just lay down and slept. And horses will only do that if they feel safe with you. So something dramatically shifted there. And that was just day 2. Stuff started to get heavy after that. And then day 3, everything kind of came into clarity. My intuition started coming in. I started getting downloads because those things weren't there anymore. I was recognizing them and I was getting rid of them. They're gone. They're not there anymore. Things still come up, but I have this tool of her clearing. I'm not sure if I should go exactly into how she's doing it, but it was magical. A lot to do with bringing light in and visualizing and just dispelling these blocks. A lot of body awareness. So you feel where these things are just sitting on you. And for me, that's very helpful because I can then localize it and actually have the sensation of it being gone. And then after that, day 3 and 5, I felt like I was the person I was supposed to be. I felt like I was the person that I was born to be without all those rocks in my pocket. And I felt so light. And then I felt like I had almost jumped timelines. Everything that had happened in a previous timeline, it wasn't me anymore. I was free. And it gave me permission to start going forward into more things that were being blocked. Fears that I could face head on, because now I have these tools to know where that fear was coming from and getting rid of it so I can move forward freely now. One of the other magical things that happened when I did one of her, the blessing ball of light, visualizing how I wanted something to go, and a frame of mind that I wanted to be in was to be able to accept gifts. I figured out that one of my blocks was not feeling worthy of having things. And so I put myself in this blessing ball of light, and I envisioned myself receiving actual like Christmas gifts with bows on them and being happy and feeling the light inside of me glowing and being able to receive them. And about an hour after I did that, visualize that, I got a phone call saying that my landlord was putting brand new hardwood floors into my house. So it was physical, actual affirmation that this stuff actually, and with the horses, I mean, I've never seen anything like that. 3 horses just like flat out in front of me and go to sleep. It was absolutely magical. And for $5, I am honestly forever changed by it. And I am incredibly grateful for it. And the synchronicity is exactly where I was supposed to be, exactly what I was supposed to do. Seemed a little daunting in the beginning, but it felt safe. It felt very, very safe to me. And yeah, I'm forever changed. And I think that's about all I have to say about it for right now. Thank you. I think you're on mute, Thomas. Oh, I think you're on mute. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm so sorry. I am on mute. Sorry.
It's okay.
Just mouthing away. Well,
You're fine.
that way you don't hear the rest of it. So, no, it's just like you basically got to live the priestess card.
I did.
Yeah.
The divine connection is what, when you pulled that card, that what really resonated with me with that was the safety net that I needed to be able to move forward into it. And I felt it physically in my body. And of all the times that I've done this, and I was going back through some of my journals and looking at the words, and I can feel the heaviness back then, even though I'd been on this journey for years and years and years and years. There was still almost like, let's just effing get through it. And well, this is just how it is. But now I can feel it in my body that that's not there anymore. It's magical.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Would you mind hanging with us for just a second?
Of course.
And let's let Tom come back in here, and then you and I will come back. And if anybody has any questions, then we'll take those when we come back, if you'd like to ask Tom. Now, Tom has a new podcast.
Yes,
and
I
it's
do.
as of today.
Yes.
Please do tell.
Yeah, my podcast is called Find Your Power, and it's going to be my platform to host an array of guests and coaches and facilitators and whatnot to explore different ways to find your power. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, and comes at a good time because you are on fire a lot more this Sunday than last Sunday. So why don't you tell us your story? We're anxious to hear.
Yeah, definitely. So day one, this came in like a stride when I was already feeling pretty like high and intuitive. And then this program came and it was like putting jet fuel into it. So we're doing that hourly ABC thing she was talking about. And it was like setting my intuition on fire. That first day was like walking luck. Like it was like, hey, every time you check into this thing, something fantastic pops up. You know, get a call from somebody that you want to talk to or whatnot. And it had such a great feeling to it. And it was like just smooth intuition like the whole day. I was like, man, this is amazing. And then when we checked into the call at the end of the day on the live, like the feeling was palpable. You could feel the light that they were doing it. And it was like coming down into you. And I was like, oh, great. Okay. This is actual, this is a feel. You can actually feel it, you know? And that was my first takeaway, is like, this is a physical sensation that I've noticed before, but I hadn't put it into practice in this way. So it brought some clarity into what was happening. It's something that I was doing in other ways in my practices, but this really put something to it. The second day I started to see everybody like pulling out the big guns with their manifestations. So because of that, I like upped the ante and I started attempting to do bigger things. And what happened then is it started pulling up more blockages within me, because I think I was reaching higher. It was pulling up a lot of emotions, and I found myself wanting to like I had regrets for like past people in my life in the past I wanted to apologize to, or I wanted to give people recognition. I found myself giving people recognition a lot on Facebook. I was just dropping posts, recognizing people. That's what it was like there. And then like when we got to the next day, it started to feel heavy. But at that point in her program, she introduces the point where you can clear with the light. She gives a strategy on how to clear with it. And then implementing that strategy like got you through like, okay, cool. Now I have a tool. Because I think a lot of people, when they connect to their intuition, their anxieties can really spike or whatnot and don't have the proper tool to deal with it. And this program offered that, so that when you would get to those moments, you would have something to do. I had moments where like things were like really clinging to me physically, and her technique was like pushing it off, you know, and then it was gone. And you're like, awesome. And my intent with this course was to get the confidence to be more open and talking and connecting with people. And it definitely did that. I was on like hyper fuel of doing that all week. Along with it, the light thing that went down, I was experiencing a lot of synchronicities with that. Melissa Granzo, she had shared a photo with me that had like the light beam and a crystal, and I saw that. I had also done a painting in the past that looked like that, and I was like, man, I'm definitely like seeing the synchronicities here now with this. So I had that in the back of my mind. And then near the beginning of the week, I had scheduled a home cleansing for the end of the week. And then I had decided because of this, I was really going to ramp up the big guns. And I did a big cleaning at my work facility to really like get all the energy out. And I did kind of like an energy clearing of my own in the spirit of it. Well, on the last day, when I got to the home cleaning or the home cleansing, that lady intuitively picked up with me that there's a light beam down my body, and that by clearing the blockages, the light will come through and have all the power. So I was like, I didn't tell her that. She just picked up on it. And I'm like, all right, this is in many different areas that I'm seeing the same thing. It's becoming a thing that I really resonate with. And now that I felt it in the program, have the tools, it's like, now this is a thing that I can work with going forward. So I was completely blown away. And now what it's doing is I have this tool. So anytime those blockages or fears are coming up, I have the tool to deal with it, to have the confidence to move through it. That's what I got.
I'm going to unmute this time. Wow, this is great. Okay, a lot of people are asking how can they participate. I'll talk about that afterwards. We're going to do some things around here as well. So hold on that. We'll get to that. And then we're going to experience a little bit of this too. Do any of you have any specific questions for Tom or Katie? And by the way, Tom's podcast is on Spotify, right? Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So don't go to Apple looking for it. You'll be like, there's no podcast. Kristen did this, and she said that she ended up with some surprise gifts this week. And Amelia did it. Amelia, I know you were really on fire and enjoying this too as well. So it was definitely effective for sure. If you have any questions, we'll just dance here for a second. And then, tell us the name of the podcast.
Find Your Power.
Find Your Power. Good. All right, cool. First episode released today. Right, hot off the presses.
Amelia and I had some commonalities in some of the blockages that we were clearing that I think was pretty interesting. Some stuff came up that was very generational, where you're trying to find where that, one of the things that Christy asked you to do is what was the first age that you felt this? And I would go back and back and back. And I'm like, I don't know. And it's generational. A lot of money anxiety for me was generational. And it gave me so much compassion for my parents, my grandparents, and places where I didn't have compassion before too for them, because we don't realize how much we carry until we realize how much we carry and how much it's projected when you have kids. You know, sometimes you don't even know that you're doing it. And so I have this spot in my heart now for that, you know, the generational trauma that unfortunately some people don't get the opportunity to clear that, but now we can, which is the blessing of it. Now we can stop that cycle. And that was really cool. I think Amelia posted something very similar to that. And I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Let me go get a piece of paper here. You guys keep going here.
It was really cool. Like the synchronicities that are happening on my podcast, my guest talked about horse therapy and connected with Katie with her horse
like
profile and horse therapy.
Yeah, instantaneously. And so hopefully I told Tom, be careful when you start talking to me about horses, because I will go all day. Big, huge part of my life. And just I think when you start releasing, clearing the blocks, the intuitive stuff just starts flowing, which is where the manifestation comes from, right? That those channels are clear and open because we are way more powerful than I think anybody has ever told us.
I've been noticing more and more, like when something comes into my awareness, like a cloud, all of a sudden, like I see more and more of that stuff. Like something will just come into my awareness, like the horse thing, and then as like the next couple of days go by, it's like, hey, there's more of that.
Yeah.
And there's more of that. Look at that, you know, like, and it
Yes.
just like breadcrumbs, you know?
Yes. And everything is actually, honestly, a lot more beautiful too. Like I'm noticing things that I'm like, this world is so pretty because for so long I had my head down, literally, you know, and figuratively. My head was looking down a lot until, you know, day one, she says, look up. You look up, you start seeing some cool stuff, like some really pretty stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's a little generational thing that I've done. What I did is I hand drew a tick mark, at least going back 7 generations.
Wow.
And I thought, well, this is too, you know, that's why I'm not an artist. And so what I did then was found something online that I was able to just fill in. It was a, you know, pre-built grid.
Wow.
And I started with, of course, mom and dad and grandparents and great-grandparents. And I knew some of the names back to great-grandparents. And then I'm not doing an ancestral DNA thing or all of that. But what this gave me was the ability to see the dots that I've put there. I just slowly am working on this of doing cord cutting.
Wow.
To separate their life energetically from my life.
Yes.
And honoring the biological contribution.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, look at that right side, how small that is. And that's 2 people for every couple. And that's a lot of energy back there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that you could play with. I know we talked about this months ago, and Sarah just got all lit up about it, and she started doing it, and it was like she stayed up all night. And
what's the technique there? Are you just going like one at a time and cord cutting generationally?
Well, I did back to great-grandparents, and then I realized this is going to take bloody forever. I mean, and I'm not in a hurry. But the idea was that I would, yes, and I have a cord cutting affirmation, and that I would touch the pen to every person and say that affirmation. And I think long game I will. But then what I did literally after that is I put my hands on the right side of the page and did it for everybody.
I was to say, could just clear all of them at once.
It's real quick.
It's like, we're going to go in phases here, but yeah. And you know, it's amazing because the line was mom and dad, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel a heaviness on my mother's side.
Yeah.
And I knew that was there, but I could really feel it as I was touching the pen to it or touching my finger to it.
Wow.
And as I was working, of course, with grandparents, I knew them. And then great-grandparents, I didn't know any of them. But I could feel.
What about the potential of ties you wouldn't want to cut?
Actually, the affirmation covers that.
Okay.
It covers it from a standpoint of only that which is good remains.
Nice.
Cutting away that which does not, honoring the biological contribution, and then cutting the energy from the part that is not of highest good and love.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we all should consider doing. It really is powerful. And and what I was saying about the heaviness that I felt in my mom's side, I mean, that was there. And I knew a lot of that. I knew of the conflict and I knew some of the things. But my dad's side felt overall lighter. And my dad's mother, her mom, so my great-grandmother, was murdered.
Oh,
she
wow.
was shot through a kitchen window while she was washing the dishes.
Wow.
A random bullet. And so even with that on my dad's side, the energy was much lighter.
Wow.
Because they were just kind of normal people doing their thing, you know, at least back two steps that I'm aware of. And where my mom's side had more complexity in there and resulting heavier energy. So yeah, it was pretty cool. All right. So guys, thank you so much. I
Thank you.
really appreciate you sharing your
Yeah.
experiences with this. And you both just lit up. I mean, you both just look amazing. Your physiology shows us that this was not some staged deal.
It's forever changing within 5 days, forever. You can't forget this. And I think that there's something I think that you wanted to mention about why was this different. For me, it was the group. I think there was so much diverse energy when you went through those, the daily, what was going on with people. It went from, I don't know if you guys watched the live last night, but the woman where her child had been the hit and run, to people that won like $4 in the lotto, but it was all wonderful. All of it was just whole, complete, affirming. And for me, I don't know if it would have been the same without that group, without all of that energy in that group, which is why I like this group too.
Yeah, there was power in everybody doing it at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
On the Facebook Live, like you could feel the energy in the room when everybody was doing it collectively.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that was the key, don't you guys?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I really do. And it made
was
that
the case.
$5 part of it made it accessible to the
Mhm.
people that there was one lady that said she had borrowed $5 to do it.
Wow.
And it just it was there for people that wanted it and were ready for it is what happened. And everyone was all in on it 100%, which made a huge difference.
Well, you guys are just precious for stopping by here and telling your
Thanks.
stories. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Got it. Thanks for having us on.
All right. We'll see you on your podcast, Tom. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Appreciate you guys. All right. They're going to join from the normal area. And I'm going to catch up on some of your comments here. So, yeah, those were great. They were exciting, good stories. Jack was saying to do the cord cutting. Kelly, I saw your message. Now, where is it? She was saying, could you, oh, here it is. Show us that affirmation. You know what? I'll put it in the Facebook group. Okay. So if you guys are not in the Facebook group, I don't know. So, all right. Now, so I wanted to unpack a couple of things here. So obviously I'm listening to this through my own ears and eyes and observing this. And Christy has been with Mind Valley for at least 10 years, 12 years. I saw stuff where she was working with them back to 2011. So it goes back, a dozen years, let's say. Yeah, we're in the comments now. Hello. That's great. So she's been with Mind Valley, and that's what launched her popularity and what launched her career. So in doing this, she is a great teacher. She structured this beautifully, and she delivered it very, very well. And as they said, completely agree. The secret to this, and it's not the only secret that's out there, but the secret to this and why it worked was the space. It was the intention of the space, and it was the delivery of the material. Both were excellent. There were, I think, 750 people in it total. And then on the live things every night, maybe 150, 175, something like that, from what I saw. But so this technique was, she said, given to her, which I totally, agree and understand. And that she then learned how to deliver it. She specifically mentioned taking classes and courses and investing in how to best deliver this online. So that was smart. Certainly picked up a lot from Mind Valley. that was a break. And the things that the ingredients, let's say that it was like a cake baking school class where everybody came together and the ingredients were the same, but you got to share the cake. It's like the excitement of doing it together was a big piece of the key. So what I realized is that a lot of what was taught in one particular way shows up in a lot of other places. I thought of Darren Weissman, a guy that I found early on, and his lifeline technique. And he was one of Hay House's most popular people at their live events. They said his table had people, wrapped out through the lobby and down the escalator and everything else, waiting to come up to his table to do a lifeline technique session. It's very similar process. So I wanted to give you a sample tonight, but do it in a way that you can we're going to focus on the white light part, because if you notice, both Katie and Tom said that was, to them, the most powerful exercise. And that's the one that you can use to tune in. One, I don't want to take, Christy has her stuff, and I'm sure she'll do this again at some point in 2024. And we'll try to catch it and announce it. And then the other piece of this was the group dynamic. So one of the things that I'm realizing I've worked with Lynn Schaefer, and Lynn's been in our group here, and she's been a key in our Facebook group and on Level Up, helped co-create it with me. And Lynn has, her website is called The Beautiful Mind Coach. And what we're going to do tonight is through this little white light and this meditation that we'll do, you might have some stuff come up. Well, Lynn has been perfecting a process of clearing blocks. And I think I've told you guys that I worked with her on some things that she dug some stuff up related to my dad. I mean, mom has always been the issue, but no, she dug up some stuff from dad that was like amazing. And she has a clearing process. So some of the things that I had been wanting to focus on intuition a lot, and that's going to be the focus in 2024. So you're going to get a lot even right around here. Now, obviously, I would highly recommend this, trying this. Beyond here, it became what other programs she has, and there were various levels and various programs. They got expensive pretty quickly. So I have a whole new model that I was going to try to get it out in 2023 here in the fall, but just didn't make it. And now Mercury's going retrograde, and I'm not going to try to bring it in during that. But in next year, we're going to start some things around here that are going to amplify the availability of this kind of thing. And one of the things I learned from it, found some blocks. Oh, don't you know, some big ones. And it was very effective to clear them. So I had a similar experience, but I also got to see a really brilliant way of delivering this. So there's going to be some of that available around here in 2023. Thomas version. I'm not going to replicate Christy. You can go to Christy and get Christy. We're going to do some of the things that I've done here. So here's I wanted to give you just a couple of things that help. So intuition, was the big platform. And that's where she has 2 courses. She calls it the Intuition 101 course and then 202. The 101 course is $1,200 a month. Hello? I paid $700 a month to live in Aspen, and I had a hiking trail right out the door, and I got to go out and work out the intuition and enjoy the beautiful scenery and do it a la natural. So, I mean, this is what I'm saying is my model is a little bit different in that sense of not like I've got some ways that we're going to be able to support this community wide and have it available for a lot of people. That's my heart. You know that. The audiobooks have supported me to be able to do this. And then I had a radio show that I was doing. So we're going to kind of shift all that model. And the idea is going to be to make this available. So it's, there will be some cost, but not $1,200 a month. And that, look, I mean, that's her thing. And that's if if somebody wanted to do that. But I just think that following our intuition is something that, to me, if I were to, I mean, I've narrated 40 Fred Dodson books, the astrology, the whole package. If I were to boil it down, and this is what Christy taught too, and this was one of those, yes, I completely agree, that the one biggest single contributing factor to my own change from darkness to light is following intuition. And when I was doing some coaching back some years ago, this is how I worked with it, is that I said, like, you have this dominant voice that is always there. Nah, right? We call it the monkey mind. Maybe it's always there. You can't get rid of it. If you want to use astrology terms, it's Mercury mind. It's the ego self, however you want to frame that up. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We're born with it on. It never stops. And it's the dominant alpha voice in our lives. And then if you think about, we have this little still soft voice that sometimes appears and then maybe it disappears because this one's too loud. Or this one tries to speak and says, hey, if you would, I was talking to somebody who's in the process of buying a car. Don't buy that car. Little soft whisper. Don't, no. And we go, but, for 100 reasons, I need this car. I like this car. The color is perfect. I want this particular car. I've got to do something or it's trying to say, and we tap it down. And this was my biggest lesson in Aspen. And it took me nearly 3 years to finally get to the point of throwing the rope and just following that voice. It started off softly, the messages, and then it got louder and louder, and it was like the universe was putting me in a box, and I was going to let it go or have trouble. The last message I got that I didn't do and didn't follow, but as I look back, I did. It was a doozy. So here's what I did. So here's the monkey mind. Here's the soft voice. The monkey mind tries to tap out the soft voice. What I did is I brought them up together as equals. And this is what I talk about in the podcast when I work this out on the hiking trails. Is, look, we're 2 members of the same team. We have the same desires here, just different techniques. Because the monkey mind only operates based on past experience in this lifetime. It only knows what it knows. The childhood programming. Yeah, but mom and dad said, or your siblings interacted this way, or every time you try this, you fail, or every time you do this, you succeed. So we have to do that. And it's all based on only what we know from this lifetime. But this is the home office calling. Hello, bring, shut up. I've got this. So what I did is I brought them up as equals and just said, look, we're both doing the same thing, except over here, little still small voice can see around the corner. This one knows the future. This one knows the outcomes that it's trying to speak to if it could just get our attention. This is Malcolm Gladwell's Blink. If you haven't read that, try to get your hands on the first chapter, at least. That's the whole book. It's the first impulse. Boop. Nope. It's my story. It was when I was first on the ski lift and I had all the wrong equipment and I wanted to take a picture. And I had the phone inside a jacket that was zipped up and a zipper inside. And I winged my glove off like that to open my, and I heard right here, don't. I look like, and as I unzipped that jacket and took the phone out very carefully and took my picture over here and took my picture over here and I put it back and I zipped it up and I made sure it was in there and I zipped my jacket up and I said, see, it's okay. I got my picture. I wanted a picture. Like, not that I couldn't have had 1,000 other opportunities, but then I went to put my glove back on. It had dropped way back there. And this was so early in my time. There was the first month I was there, and I didn't know how to ski on that terrain yet. And this was a Sunday afternoon, very preseason, and the only people coming up the chair were Aspen locals. And of course, nobody knew me, and I didn't know anybody else. But I got to slide down there and take my ski off on terrain that most of them don't even think about, and crawl down there and get my glove and put my ski back on and then try to work my way out of there. Oh, you would have thought that would have been enough, but oh no, I had to keep arguing with it. It was like, so what I did is I brought them out and I said, over the time, I said, look, would you be willing to shift this little structure so that this voice, the one that can see around the corner, becomes the dominant voice? But what about me? What about me? It's like, well, first of all, you're not going to get your head pounded on because this one's not going to try to dominate. But second, once this one opines and tells us what we're going to do, then we get busy doing it. And when you've got my astrological structure, you can get really busy really fast, make it happen. So that's the dynamic that I worked out. And then over that time shifted to the point where this is truly the voice that is always on now. And this is the voice that I'm listening to all the time. And that's what I do. And that's the new paradigm. And that's been in place for years, really. So the idea of this connection that we're going to do now is very powerful. And it's great to form this habit, but you can get to that point where you allow that voice, this side, you get that voice that is connected to your highest source, to God. And that was another thing that was missing from the program, was connection to the divine. It wasn't mentioned. And I'd like to, in the work that I would do, is to bring that in. So this is, the goal of this is to make this the dominant voice. Now, she did something that I thought was very, very good, and that is the connection to the light. So that's going to be our meditation tonight. So let's just move into this. And this is it's an abbreviated version, but it will be enough to connect, is to that you can set your alarm to do once an hour. Check in, connect, plug in, because we get distracted through the day, right? As you do this, and you do it once an hour through the week, blocks are likely to come up. And if they do, contact Lynn. We've got it right here. And she'll do even a, initial conversation with you to talk about it. And she is really, really good at digging these things up and clearing them. So you might want to stand up for this. I find it better to stand up. I'm standing my standing desk right now. And you can close your eyes or not. This is not a deep meditation, but as Christy and Tom both said, Katie and Tom, sorry, that I got Christy on my mind. Katie and Tom both said that what she pictured was connecting with white light from above. And as Katie said, you look up there. And then she said, extend yourself 300 feet higher than you are through your physical presence. Stretch way up there and feel white light. And what I did with it was divine light coming down, entering your body, flowing through you, and then rushing itself out through the heart chakra. So you're connecting up, and just go ahead and do that now. White light, divine light. Maybe your light might have some other color to it. This isn't hard and fast rules. This is, you go with what's speaking to you. You might see color around this. A lot of you are perceptive to that. So you're stretching up, you're looking up, you're feeling yourself much higher, and you're allowing white light, divine light, to come from your highest source down through you, into you, and through you, and out your heart chakra area. And then do the same connecting to the earth. And I found it helpful as white light comes up and enters through your feet and through your lower chakras, and then up and out through your heart chakra as well. So now it's coming down from above, up from below, that the energy above is divine energy. The light below is Mother Gaia energy, representative of this journey that we're on here on Earth. It's our support. And Katie said, everything is beautiful now. It's that, we can enjoy this Earth and we can connect to it and ground to it. And animals are such a wonderful way, and horses are so amazing. What a cool story that was. So here you're feeling this white light coming down from above and out and up from below and out. And you can use those other connections if you want. And as you're standing in that space and this light is flowing through you, that is both the healing method and the method of determining the blocks. Because as you stand in that, and this is what both of them said and they were experiencing, is that you might then, especially after a day or two of this, don't maybe not expect it tonight. Some of you may. But as you then scan your body, particularly along your line of chakras, that you might feel these blocks that have been with you for a long time. They'll become more magnified. You might feel it intuitively because you're flowing divine energy and divine love and divine light into and through you. You might feel it through the grounding. But just stand in that flow and scan your body. I'm going to stop talking for a minute and see if anything comes up for you. If you feel something, it was mentioned earlier, Katie, I believe, mentioned it. Isolate where it is in your body. That will help at least create some attachment to where it is. Keep the light going. Keep the light flowing. And as you isolate where it is and what it might be, maybe it's a block around money. Maybe it's a block around love. We had a couple of people tonight mention that they're not feeling well. Rob and then Alyssa has been down with COVID. See if you guys can find where that is in your body. Maybe it's in the chest, the heart chakra area. Then through that light, you can clear and release that block. And just set the intention. I clear and release this block now. I clear and release this block now. Say it over and over. Keep flowing the light. I clear and release this block now. By flowing that white light, divine Mother Gaia energy through you and out of you and back out as you flow it out and away from you and it surrounds you, you should feel lighter just from that. That should feel better. And then if blocks did come up, and you can continue that process, that then you can contact Lynn, thebeautifulmindcoach.com. You can certainly go to Christy's page. I'm just saying we have it here in our family too. And that the other thing that's so powerful, and I'd like for us to do this for a moment tonight together, is us together as a group supporting each other. And we highlighted that as perhaps the most effective part of this, what we experienced this week was the group support. So as you're focusing tonight more on yourself and this process for yourself, also extend that light that is flowing through you to the others who are with us and to those who will watch replays later. And think of some names that you've seen. Think of those that are sick. Alyssa and Rob and others. And just extend that white light to them so that we're supporting each other in this. This becomes a really intense journey, as you heard tonight, very personalized. What one person experiences, another may or may not. And it is, you go in deep inside to the inner recesses of your own soul and your own unconscious mind. That's a lonely journey, but we can support each other. You can't do it for somebody. but we can sure support them. And as you're radiating that light now, as it leaves your body through your heart chakra area, send it out as pure love to the others in our group. Send it to Tom and his new podcast. Katie, she has to move over so that they can install beautiful new hardwood floors for free. Her horse is laying in the pasture. The miracles that we all need in our lives. And it's just one other step to send that love out to the world. And when you feel it coming and radiating through you like this, it's just real easy to even stretch your arms out and just extend that love out, spreading your arms open so that you're sending it to this planet. Doesn't it need it? But doing it with compassion and just as a gift. It's flowing so freely through you right now that you can send it out wherever it's needed around this planet. So many places. And you think about what a different place this would be if the whole planet could take a week and heal like this. It would be amazing. I keep holding out that some of the astrology that's ahead of us, some of these as above, so belows that are getting ready to be in front of us, will facilitate that happening. Send the world love, just as a gift. How did that feel? I hope for you it felt really, really good. I got to say, that was, even leading that was just, wow. Goodness. I want to go back and catch up some of your comments here. I think that's Melissa Gronzo. This material shows up in a lot of places. Packaging it and group support is just a huge, huge thing. Jennifer, you know what I did around listening to the whisper? I just decided I was going to do it. There wasn't going to be any. I mean, I don't know. I haven't kept a scorecard, but it's at least 90%. And I think the other 10% is me just messing up and not interpreting it right. So if you have a 90% odds of success probability that things would turn out favorable for you in the end, why not just take it? I mean, I can't prove it wrong. I can't prove it inaccurate. So I just decided, I'm going to just do it. So quit arguing with it. Quit arguing with it. No more monkey mind. Let's see here. Yep, contact Lynn. Yeah, the grounding energy, Tom was saying. Oh, yeah, Tom said that he'd been having really bad back pain that literally went away last week. Pam is saying both her feet and her hands started this with a burning sensation. And Katie said that's your chi energy. Yeah. Yeah. Mary said, my feet too. You know, Melissa, this is the releasing part. And that's why I wanted to mention Lynn's availability and her service, because it's an excellent program, and it's significantly affordable in comparison. But I wanted to show you what these guys were so excited about a little bit. And keep in mind, this was over a week and we've got, 20 minutes, that I wanted to give you a little sample, but this unfolded over a full week and had the group support and everything. So that's why I wanted you to, if something came up for you here tonight and it's like, ooh, I need to deal with this, you've got a resource right there. You can get a hold of her and she'll answer the email and you can, boom, you're on your way. All right. So I wanted to make sure that you had that resource as we did this, because the last thing you want to do is open up something and then not have the full tools to know what to do to deal with it. Good. Lower chakras, yeah. My hands up, sending love. Feel like Spider-Man shooting love all over the place. That's great. Love it. That's great. Oh, good. I'm glad, Lynn. Thanks. I'm glad it felt powerful. Oh, cool. Good. Good. You are most welcome. Okay. Now, this is the thing. I mean, even right here, just releasing. You guys are very welcome. Yeah. See, hourly connecting with that light. Exactly, Arnaldo. So this is what one of the exercises that was early on in the program after the first day was to set your alarm every hour. And you can just, when it rings, just roll it to the next hour, roll it to the next hour, roll it to the next hour. And that you tune in. Just take a couple of minutes, but tune in. And that way what that's doing is it's staying connected to the home office. It's like we've talked about this a lot. How many podcasts? I think of that one. I listened to it recently, that one about the voice. It's not too far back. It's a story. It's not a real story, obviously, but it's a great story of a pilot that guys are in a private plane and the pilot goes out and they get on the radio, and what the analogy is if you listen to the voice, and we'll get you down safely. But if you don't listen, well, you're going to plunge into the dark ocean. And that's a great analogy. It really is. You all of a sudden are thrust into a situation that you are not equipped to handle. You need direction. You need instruction. You need to know, what do I do? What do I do next? How do I do this? And right there is the voice to tell you. And what we have to do is get this one to stop hammering it, because it's got a poor headache. It's down there with a bag of ice on its head because we keep slamming it down. And if you just get to that point where you bring both of them up and allow that still small voice, then to take the command position, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful, beautiful way to live. It really is. Everything just gets so much lighter when you do that. It's incredible. You know, the whole everything, water, eating, food, kind of food, and rest became a big deal. I know a lot of you ask if I rest and do I take care of myself. Today was a complete down day. I was going to go up and try to get a big chunk of the Book of the Moon done. Didn't touch it. I did tomorrow's podcast and rested. I honored my body. It's been tired. So yes, I do. And part of that I think was from this week too, was just the needing to just to have a down day. It was cold and rainy and wet here today, and it was a good day to just stay in. And you know, that's so true, Lynn. I'm glad you brought that up because it really is. When you boil all this down and you start to live this way, you realize that everything you need is right there inside of you. It's that intuition. And that's what we're practicing. When you connect this week, you're practicing connecting with that source. It's, you know, as we said, it's this voice is the one that has all the answers. It's within you. It's just more quiet. We have to bring it out. We have to honor it. We have to follow it. And that's where we get off track. When you clear a block, thanks Amelia for sharing this. When you clear a block with light, ask next what you want to replace it with. The universe, as we know, abhors a vacuum, right? And so the other little technique, you guys have heard the energy ball, right? You hold your hands out here like you're holding a volleyball, and you can feel, once you get sensitive to it, you can feel the energy that's being created by your hands. You might need to put your hands closer. Typically, you'll feel it from center of your palm to center of your palm. But create an energy ball, or just create a ball of light. You can just visualize a ball of light out there in front of you. And you place inside that ball what you want to replace what you cleared. So let's say what you cleared was in your heart chakra area. Well, you put in there what you want to replace it with, and then move that ball right into your heart chakra area where the void is that you cleared. Pretty cool. All right. This is just fantastic. I'm glad you guys stayed with this, and within you is all you need. Melissa's having some openings here, guys. This is great. Family stuff. So we covered that too tonight. So excellent. Hit that point. And that was no accident that lineage piece came up when Katie and Tom were sharing that. And then, you know, this little diagram can be helpful for that. And I will drop that cord cutting for the lineage that I'm using in the Facebook group here in a bit. All right. Well, I hope this helps, and hope that it really creates some juju for you guys this week, some good stuff. And like I say, I mean, mostly it's just it's mostly just a dance between the connecting, the perceiving, and the clearing, and the replacing. and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And yeah, some blocks are sticky and they won't clear right away. And that's where gave you the resource. Len will help take care of you and can work through that. She's got some really cool tools. So there are ways to do it. If it doesn't clear with the light, don't worry. These things are sticky and they've been in there a long time. And my belief is that they've come from not only this experience, but also we've had others, and that gets brought forward. And these clearing methods are all amazing when we can just release all of this. And it's a perfect time in our collective timeline right now to be doing this. The energy in the sky is with us to support us in this as well. So, all right, you guys have a wonderful week. And good family time of year for sure. Absolutely. Family time of year. All right, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you back. Let's see, Kristen and Alyssa are with us next weekend, and we've got to get Alyssa well so that she can be here to knock that COVID out. So, I'll be obviously checking in with them to make sure that she's a go, but at least Kristen, and hopefully she'll be here. I'm just going to claim that she will. She'll be here next week. So, Katie and Tom, thank you again so much. Really appreciate you sharing your stories. Thanks for the good chat in our Facebook group. And then also, obviously, what we experienced in that other one were just remarkable. So thank you guys so much. And we will see you I'll be back in 2 weeks. And am I going to do it the weekend before or in between the holidays? You bet. You bet. We'll be here. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Bye-bye.